If you're still tracking your calibrations manually on spreadsheets, you might be wasting hours of work, and worse, risking ISO or API audit findings, especially non-conformities. Imagine an auditor walks in and asks, "Where is your calibration history? Which assets are overdue or due for calibration? Can you show proof of what you did when you found an instrument out of tolerance?" You scramble through spreadsheets hoping everything is in order, but what if you miss something? In this video, I'll show you how calibration software can take the guesswork out of managing your ISO or API, testing, measuring, monitoring, and detection equipment program, helping you automate tracking and notifications, ensure zero overdue calibrations, and pass your audits effortlessly. So let's dive in. By the end of this video, you'll know why spreadsheets aren't enough for managing calibration, the biggest time and efficiency gains from using software, and how the proper software can help you pass ISO or API audits with ease. And I'll walk you through a real-time demonstration of Web QMS Calibration module so you can see it in action. A while back, a client of ours who ran a CNC manufacturing managed over 500 tools and instruments manually using Excel. It worked until it didn't. They even tried to put this into an Access database, and it appeared to work until the person who created it left and nobody else could access it. No pun intended. One day during their audit, they realized that more than 10 or 20 calibrations were overdue, and another 15 or more didn't have the proper certificates of calibration available. The result, multiple non-conformities and a delayed recertification. After switching to a calibration software, they cleaned up their entire asset list, updated their certificates, and eliminated overdue calibrations, and went through their next audit with zero findings related to calibration. Let's look at why this happened and how you can avoid the same mistake. Why spreadsheets aren't enough for calibration management? Spreadsheets can work for tracking calibration, but once you have more than 20 tool or precision instruments, they quickly become inefficient and prone to errors, making it difficult to stay compliant and organized. If a calibration is due and no one notices, that tool could remain out of tolerance, creating product defects, safety risks, high level of customer dissatisfaction if the product gets to the customer. But with a calibration software, there's automated reminders to ensure nothing gets missed, because not only the employees get reminded, but their bosses also get reminded. There's a status tracking showing overdue, upcoming, and compliant assets. A centralized database stores every calibration record and certificate. Where software saves you time and effort, managing calibration manually is a nightmare, especially when dealing with hundreds of tools across multiple locations. Outsourced versus in-house calibrations, failed calibrations that require follow-up. So let's look at how software eliminates these headaches. No need to track due dates. Reminders are sent automatically to in-house techs. Assign assets to employees so that they can be notified when a tool they use is coming due for calibration. Real-time status dashboard. See a live view of all assets, color-coded based on the end-on-light principle for quick visibility. Easily find overdue, coming due, and up-to-date calibrations. Instant calibration certificates. Upload and attach calibration certificates directly to each asset. Out of tolerance follow-up. If an asset is found out of tolerance, the software will automatically help you create follow-up tasks for resolution, which could be a corrective action card to find the root cause and put actions in place so that the same problem does not happen again. Or could be simple action items showing what was done to correct the issue. if it did not need a root cause analysis. How software helps you pass ISO and API audits. When an ISO 9001, API Q1, or maybe 17025 auditor, for example, ask about your calibration program, they expect documented calibration records, traceability of all your measurements, and corrective actions for out-of-tolerance equipment. With a spreadsheet, it's easy to overlook a missing record or outdated data. With software, everything is at your fingertips. Instead of scrambling during an audit, imagine just clicking a button and instantly showing every calibrated asset in your company. Proof of calibration and certificate for every tool, and corrective actions for out-of-tolerance findings. This is the Asset Management app. From here, I can filter for all assets that require calibration or verification. Here you can see the asset ID, the asset type, the description, and other information that is important and relevant for your calibration assets, such as the model, whether they are being outsourced for calibration or calibration is done in-house, the schedule for calibration, which could be every 6 months, every 12 months, 24 months, etc. The last date of calibration, the next due date for calibration, the calibration certificate will be the last calibration certificate, whether the asset is in service, out of service, and the calibration status. Green will be that everything is good. Amber will be that maybe it is pending calibration or it is pending an action or root cause analysis if the calibration was found out of tolerance. And red will be that there is something really pending in this asset, which could be past due for calibration or pending action or corrective action. When I click on one of the assets, I can see the detailed view. I can view more information about the asset, such as when it was purchased, the date acquired, the price, serial number, and other information relevant to this particular asset. If I am an admin, I can even see history logs of what happened to this asset. In the calibration tab, I will see more details about the calibration, which, for example, what type of check, whether it's calibration or verification. If information was entered on range and accuracy, I will see that. If this is used as a standard, it will also show here. In this case, the calibration is outsourced. It is performed every 12 months. And I could even see the cost or a link to the procedure or work instruction used. In this case, I can see the history of calibration. For example, in 2019, this was conducted. I can click here. The as found was intolerance, the as left was intolerance, and I can click to see the certificate for that particular year. No corrective actions or actions were necessary because it was found probably intolerance. Same with 2020 and 2021, but in 2025, it was found out of tolerance. And we can see that one action was created, and we can easily look into this to see what exactly that action entails and who has been assigned to and who has been assigned for verification. And the history will also tell us the status of it. If we need to calibrate this asset, which was past due before, we can click on the calibrate, and you will be able to enter, in this case, this is an outsource. All we need to do is just enter the certificate. Here we will put the as found. And if we put out of tolerance, then you can see how the follow-up is created so that we can create action items, create corrective action and assign to people, or if maybe that asset was not used or we have other reasons, we can put none. But here is where we will select the supplier from the approved supplier list. We can put the cost and we can drag and drop the certificate. Going back to the list of calibrations, we can also go to settings. And in the reminders, we will see that we can set up reminders for this asset. For example, in this case, we have a reminder for the employees so they can view this information. and this is the message that they will see. It's being sent every 7 days on Sundays and at 6 a.m. And there's a look ahead every 30 days so that they can include any assets coming due in 30 days. We can also have 2 different reminders, and that way we can send the reminders to calibration admins as well as calibration techs. Here is a sample of the reminder that is sent to employees and the calibration admin and techs, showing them the assets past due for calibration and or verification, assets coming due for calibration or verification, as well as assets with open actions or corrective actions. Here is a sample of an email that an employee will get if they have been assigned an action. In this case, I can see there's a new action for this asset. This is a caliper that is located in San Diego, and they are told exactly what is the action they need to take because this asset was found out of tolerance in this date. If you are still relying on a spreadsheet, it's time you upgrade your calibration management. And if you want to see this software in action for your company, click the link in the description to schedule a live demo. See you in the next video.